Welcome to the Emily the Mystic Show. You're about to walk through a portal that leads to all things mystical, magical, spiritual, and supernatural. I'm your host, Emily. I'm a spiritual mentor, an Akashic Records practitioner and teacher, an intuition development coach, and a galactic channeler. If you're an old soul on a self-discovery and healing journey, you are in the right place. We'll be diving in deep to some of my favorite mystical topics, including manifestation, past lives, the spirit world, energy, and so much more. Get ready to embrace your inner mystic and live your most authentic life possible. The portal is now open.
Welcome to 2025 and to your January energy forecast here on the Emily the Mystic Show podcast. I am so excited to get into today's episode. It's the first one of the new year. Yippee! We made it. We made it through the holiday season, and we are here kickstarting a new year and a whole new year of episodes on this incredible podcast. Thank you so much for making this podcast so much fun and such a joy to create. It has been so rewarding and just filled with so much joy and fun and play for me to be able to create these episodes for you. So I hope you're enjoying them as much as I have been enjoying creating them. And we're coming up on a year of this podcast, which is absolutely incredible. So this episode is a celebration as well of this podcast journey. It marks episode number 51 of this amazing show. And with that being said, I can't wait to dive into some of the energetics of the new year and how you can set yourself up for success with really leaning in and surrendering to the frequencies that January has in store for you. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're listening. I am an Akashic channel. I'm a galactic channel, and I tune into the cosmic frequencies as well as the planetary alignments during the month ahead to help you get clear on how the energies could be impacting you in your life. And with that, of course, it's a new year. So there are going to be new flavors. There are going to be new energies. So I'm going to be giving you some information about January as we head into this year, as well as some more personal ways of tuning into the frequency of the year ahead for you. So I hope that this episode gives you a really well-rounded approach to, again, leaning into what this year may have in store for you, knowing that it is a portal. We talk about this podcast being a portal, and so too is this energy forecast, a portal for you into what's ahead and in store for you this year. If you haven't taken time to sit down and craft your intentions, craft your dreams, your manifestations, to create your vision board or whatever that you like to do for the year ahead, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to the previous episode of this podcast, because I fill you in with lots of tips and tricks and practical ideas and so forth for crafting your own intention setting practice for the new year. So definitely check that out. And today I'm going to be giving you a tool that you can have in your toolkit. We're going to be looking at numerology and how you can use the numerology number of the year tool to help you discern what frequencies, what's going to be the underlying current foundation that which your year is built upon. So we're going to be talking about that today in this episode. So I can't wait to get into it. 2025, if you're not aware, is going to be a pretty groundbreaking year. Now, I am not a trained astrologer, so I'm not going to be taking you through a ton of specific astrology things to look at. But when I was taking a look at the overall months of the year and some of the big themes that were happening from an astrology perspective, there are a lot of things going on this year. So, for example, the outer planets are changing signs. Most of the outer planets in astrology are changing signs. We have Pluto, the planet of transformation, which changed signs into the sign of from Capricorn into Aquarius. At the end of 2024, we have Neptune, which is going to be moving from the sign of Pisces into Aries. Later on this year in 2025, we have the planet of Uranus changing signs from Taurus into Gemini. Later on this year, we have the nodes changing signs. The lunar nodes are changing from Aries and Libra into Pisces and Virgo. And of course, we're going to have other things happening. Mars is currently in retrograde until, I believe, the middle to end of February. We also have Mercury retrograde, which ended in mid-December, but Mercury will be going retrograde in future months during the year of 2025. So all of this goes to say that there are some big shifts that are happening at a collective level. I feel personally excited for these shifts. By the way, when these outer planets change signs in astrology, it means that we're going through massive generational change, because a lot of these planets don't change signs every 5 years, every 10 years. Some of them change signs like every 20 years or more. So these are big, 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 big groundbreaking shifts that we're going to start to see take place. So when it comes to the energy of the frequency of January, what's important for you to keep in mind is that it may not feel quite like a brand new year yet. You may feel like, oh, it's just kind of another turn of the calendar, another day in the life. It kind of feels like a similar flavor, a similar vibration to 2024. But that's because some of the bigger things, the new energies, aren't going to be coming in until later in the year. So I want you to kind of bookmark this on your calendar. I want you to be aware that we're going to be going through some big changes astrologically during the month of March this year. We're also going to be going through some big changes. I'm being shown from the guides in June and July, as well as in September. So those are going to be the months where there's going to be some big things that are happening and shifting. Specifically for March, there's kind of an unknown energy. I don't know what's going to happen. The guides aren't giving me any specific information, but I do know that there's going to be some storyline, something unfolding. We may start to see a hint of it at the end of January, but it's going to really be playing full on, full out during the month of March. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. And this is nothing to be afraid of. It's just for you to know that because things are changing so rapidly in terms of the astrology and the frequencies and so forth in the year of 2025, March is going to be one of those months that may feel a little bit more volatile, that may feel a little bit more unknown, that may feel new. There are going to be just new energies that are going to be creating a big kind of storyline for us as a collective. So we're going to see what happens with that. So keep that in mind as I kind of give you the forecast for the month of January. So knowing that March is going to be a big month, when we take a look at January specifically, I want you to be aware that, first of all, the nodes are changing signs. So the lunar nodes change signs every 2 to 3 years. They are moving from Aries Libra into Pisces and Virgo. And what's important for you to know about that is because the nodes have been in this old chapter that we've been moving through over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, they may have created a storyline. I spoke a lot about this in the October and in the September energy forecast in 2024. So the nodes create a storyline that you personally may be moving through every 2 to 3 years. So when the nodes change signs, it opens up a new storyline. Now, the nodes are connected with the eclipses and with eclipse season. So when eclipse season begins, which it will in March of this year, again, that month of March is coming up, when the nodes change signs and we experience a whole new flavor, basically, to eclipse season. Eclipse season, if you're aware, is a time of potent change and transformation. So with the nodes moving into Pisces and Virgo, there's going to be this tension that gets created between the dreamy, etheric, mystical Pisces and the organized, grounded, very dedicated Virgo energy, the structured, sort of disciplined energy. So there's going to be a little bit of tension that's created there. And for you, you may start to allow that storyline to be open to begin to unfold for you during the course of the month ahead. So it's going to, this month of January, it's giving you a preview into what's going to be unfolding for you over the next 12 months and beyond. So it may feel a little bit uncertain and a little bit unknown at first. Again, remember this Pisces zodiac sign is a sign of mystery and mysticism and wisdom. And you may feel kind of this tension between your head and your heart. And that tension is going to continue to unfold during the course of eclipse season and beyond. Again, with eclipse season starting in March, and then the fall eclipse season will be in September of the fall of this year, 2025. So I want you to be aware of how that planetary energy is going to be creating perhaps a sense of tension or unknown between your head and your heart. You're going to be feeling an uncertainty around, do I lead with my head? Do I lead with my heart? And what your guides really want you to tune into during this month is being really grounded in what your needs and what your desires are. Because it's important to have a balance of both the head and the heart. So when we are being aware and leaning into and surrendering to our awareness of who we are, what our needs are, what our desires are, where we want to go, and perhaps where you and your partner and your family, what your overall vision is as a family, as a unit, or maybe that may be in contrast to your partner or other people in your family. And by family, I mean, let's say you're married and we're talking about you and your husband and your kids and where you want to kind of direct your family unit. I don't necessarily mean your family of origin, but I'm talking about that vision, that drive, that high frequency that you may be feeling come in for you and for yourself and for the people immediately around you. You're going to feel this sort of push and pull between your head and your heart. And what I want you to really lean into is, okay, I have this vision for myself in 2025. I've set my intentions. I've gotten really clear on what I want. I have a really good idea of where I would like to be by the end of this year, or at least what my dream looks like for myself. How can I be really in the flow and surrendering to where life is taking me this month? So with that being said, the guides are recommending that you take a bit of a proactive approach to listening to yourself and listening to your intuition, the higher wisdom that's coming in, with being really practical with how that needs to get grounded into your human body. So again, we're talking about this higher wisdom of the heart versus the intellect of the mind, and more of the practical way of taking action and applying and integrating some of those heart-centered, higher wisdom, higher intuition that's starting to come in. So we want to make sure that every moment of every single day that you are really leaning into, okay, what is the guidance that I'm receiving today? Where am I feeling led? Where am I feeling drawn? What are my desires? What are my needs? And then being proactive with asking for support, asking for help, and taking action on those small steps, those practical things that you need to do in order to fulfill those needs, in order to get to your desires in order to be on that next step towards whatever it is that you're working on manifesting this year. And it's 4:44 p.m. my time as I say that. So let me give you a couple of examples here. They want you to be proactive versus being reactive. That means that you are actively choosing a lifestyle this month in January and heading into the new year. So this is going to set you up for success as we move forward. This is going to give you a proactive approach to really being true to yourself, to your compass, to where you are feeling guided and led. You're going to feel pulled to different things. You're also going to feel repelled by other things. And when you are being proactive towards those things that you're being pulled towards, meaning instead of just writing down the idea in the notes app of your phone and forgetting about it, you actually put it as a thing on your to-do list of something that you need to get done. Or another example of this is maybe you get some ideas that come in and you are excited about them. So you talk about them. You have a conversation about them with someone else. And that conversation that you have prompts more clarity around how you can actually take action on those ideas. So it's this very proactive approach towards moving in flow with your guidance during the course of this month ahead versus being reactive. So when we're in a reactive energy, we are putting things off, we're avoiding them, we're in fear, we're in lack, we're in scarcity, we're pretending like that higher guidance isn't coming in, we are ignoring connecting with our guides. And so when we're reactive, we only react to things in the moment. So perhaps if you had really taken some time to slow down, connect to your intuition, be open to that heart-centered guidance, then you can use your intellect, your mind to take action on what it's telling you to do. That kind of helps you move forward with things. Versus if you're ignoring the higher guidance, you're shutting it down, you're not connecting at all, you're not feeling connected at all, you may find that something pops up in your life that's totally out of your control. And it may spur a sense of reactivity, like, oh, this is really triggering. This is super triggering to me. Versus if you had been really in the flow and in the current of where January is taking you, where the higher guidance is taking you, you may have anticipated, oh, this isn't going to work out. Or, oh, I just have a weird feeling about this event. I don't feel like I need to be there. So therefore, I'm not going to go. Versus, I should have tuned into that event, but I'm here and it's been not great. And I wish I wasn't here. I wish I would have just stayed home. That sort of thing. Proactive with your higher guidance versus reactive. And really, they're showing me this visual of when you're moving with the current of January, you are in flow with it. You are being directed by the current wherever you need to go. Versus if you are just kind of staying stuck in the mud and you are ignoring and avoiding the higher guidance, you're actively avoiding and ignoring what you feel like you need to do next, and you're kind of keeping yourself closed off, you're either going to be just stuck in the current, not moving, like stuck in the mud, literally with the current rushing around you, or you're going to feel like you're moving against the current. Like, oh, there's all of this resistance coming up. So if you start to feel resistance this month, I want you to tune into and ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What am I ignoring? And where can I be more open to the higher guidance that wants to come in for me to allow myself to flow with this current of life? Because that's exactly that tension between Pisces and Virgo, is the intuition and the structure and the discipline. We need to have a mix of both. So a really good example of that for me and for my business owners out there is, if you are an intuitive spiritual business owner, you also need to have a little bit of structure to your business. You need to have a general plan, at least for your calendar for the next month or two or next couple of months. And you also need to follow the intuition and the higher guidance that's coming in. So you need the structure of your calendar and a plan for what you're doing and what you're creating, and an idea, a vision, and also an action plan, a course of action, a way to do it, a support system as well. Other people in your life who are helping hold the space for you. So you need the higher guidance, but you also need that action-oriented approach as well. Those things, when we're really in flow with that, both of those masculine and feminine energies. So this month is really all about leaning into that balance around both. You're going to really feel prepared for the year ahead. You're going to feel stable. You're going to feel like you're moving with the current, and you're going to have less fear. Because when you're stuck in the current or you're resisting the current, you're going to get pushed so far down the current that it's going to feel really overwhelming. And or you're going to just feel a sense of like, nothing is working, nothing is flowing. What am I doing wrong? And it's harder to shift from that place than to be proactive about it and to catch yourself on a daily level when things are not flowing in the way that is aligned, that feels good. And by the way, it's not always being with the flow and the current of life is not always going to feel easy. It's not always going to feel comfortable. So I feel like I have to say that. I think sometimes we have this idea that when life is full of ease and flow, it's just like la-di-da, like, I'm just kind of bumping around. No, this is an energy of listening to higher guidance while taking action, that head and that heart connection. And when you're doing that, you move forward. You actually get things done. You have big awareness shifts. You have big frequency shifts. So they really want you to be in that this month. Now, with that being said, they're also sharing with me that it's going to be a very internally focused month. So you're going to need to really lean into that higher guidance while focusing on yourself. So you're going to need to clear space and time in your calendar for connection. I would encourage you to really get into having a spiritual routine this month. Really get grounded into what is my most resonant, most joyful daily routine that I do for myself. Do I start with 5 minutes of meditation in the morning? Am I moving my body to get some exercise? Am I journaling? Am I listening and dancing to music? And then maybe I have a nighttime routine for later in my day. They want you to get really clear on what those routines and rituals that you're being called to do, because they are going to help you set you up for success with getting you in a really good flow again for the year. We're using this beautiful analogy of the current. It's going to create your routine is going to create the boat that you're in. So when you're in your boat, you feel this sense of stability. You feel like you have a vessel that's taking you through this current this month. That's what your daily routine, your ritual is going to help you do, because it's going to create a space for that higher guidance to come in, which creates that beautiful boat that's helping lead you and guide you. You could even think of it as like the boat has a guide on it who is helping paddle you. And you are also paddling because you're an active participant, but the current, meaning the universe, is pushing you along, and you've got a higher guide that is standing on the end of the boat helping you row along. So you are supported, you've got guidance, you're not alone. And having that daily routine and even weekly things that you do are going to be really helpful for that. So it's going to be a month of kind of reconnecting with some of those things. So let yourself have those quiet moments. Give yourself the time and space. You may want to have more of an expansive calendar this month, meaning that you're more open to there's more space and openness in your calendar for doing rituals, for doing self-healing, for doing a guided meditation or some sort of spiritual practice. You're going to feel really good if you surround yourself with time for those things. So what can you do, again, to be proactive about that? Can you plan your weekly calendar differently so that you make time for yourself? Can you do things like ordering your groceries instead of going to the grocery store to save yourself 2 hours a week so that instead you can use that 2 hours a week for other things? Or can you maybe meal prep for the week and get all of your meals put together so that you don't have to worry about that during your day? So therefore, you can spend an extra 30 minutes first thing in the morning in meditation versus making yourself your breakfast and your lunch for the day. So how can we be more proactive and create space? So the proactive energy is that masculine energy. How can we create a plan or a sense of organization or an idea, a container for ourselves that will help us create the boat that we need in order to flow with the current of life, the current of life being more of that divine feminine energy. With that being said, because we are also still in a very long period of a Mars retrograde that has been happening since the beginning of December, end of November, beginning of December, there are going to be some themes this month in relation to this whole analogy of the current of life. There are going to be some themes this month related to setting boundaries and clearing the frequency and energy of codependency. So you may be shown or you may feel or sense things that are not working in terms of how you relate to others, how you help others, how you support others, and also where you're kind of giving away your time and your energy to things that are not enriching you or supporting you. Enriching is actually a really good word for this month because January can be a very enriching month for you if you really lean into setting yourself up for success with your time, with your practices, with your rituals, with creating those containers for yourself. And that helps you when it comes to other people in your life, having boundaries with them to know, okay, if I know what my ideal calendar and schedule looks like, and I know when my daily meditation is, and I'm really going to stick to that, I'm also going to make sure that I do what I need to do. I get to the gym, I meal prep, I, take care of my needs and the things that bring me joy. That way, I can make sure that I am nourished and that my cup is full. And then I can decide from that place whether or not I have the capacity to help somebody else. Or I can realize, okay, I just don't have that anymore. Now that I filled my life with enriching things that nourish me and bring me joy, I just don't have the space for the friend that wants to vent to me on the phone for 3 hours a week. Or I just don't have the space for helping with this family member who needs me to babysit the kids twice a week. I can only help once a week. Or I can't really help anymore. You're going to need to hire someone. So those are just examples to show you that the guides really want you to focus on building a really enriching container for yourself this month. You are enriching yourself with practices and rituals and things that are going to lift you up, that are going to boost your frequency, and that are going to help you feel enriched and connected. So that way you can flow more easily with the current of life, knowing that your life has been enriched through the practices that are keeping you afloat, that are keeping you sane, basically, during the month of January. And when people in your life get mad at you or annoyed at you that you don't have the time for them anymore, you're going to be shown those situations where codependency is no longer serving you, where you can't be the person that steps in to save your loved one or that steps in to save your friend who really just always has something, always needs something from you. You are that strong, stable boat in the current, and the people who try to latch on to your boat are going to have to realize that they themselves need a stronger boat. And it's not your responsibility to build a stronger boat for them. You can help show them where they can create a stronger boat, where they can get one, how they can build it, but you're not going to be building it for them because otherwise they wouldn't know how to direct the boat in the first place. So you are responsible for your boat. And if you are, as I was saying that example earlier, if you're in a family unit, you're married with kids, or you're in a committed partnership with children of your own, you need to also be aware that your partner has their own boat and your kids have their own boats. You're helping guide your kids because they have boats that need assistance, because children cannot operate a motorized boat, for example. So you're going to need to help your kids, but your partner also needs to support them as well. And they need to build a sturdy boat of their own. So making sure that you are nourishing yourself and enriching yourself to create that stable boat foundation that you need for moving through the current of life this month, it's really going to set you up for success and help you feel more proactive instead of reactive as you go through this month and as we head into some of the more astrologically crazy times like March might be and other months later on in the year. Ooh, that was a lot. I hope you're kind of feeling the activation that's coming forward with this. I hope that it piques some downloads and ideas for where you may need to create more of an enriching schedule or a routine for yourself, or things that need to be added in or taken away. So I hope that this helps you get clarity on how you can do that for yourself and how you can really lean into the energy of the month ahead of January. So know that it's going to feel a little bit more internally focused. It's going to feel like a building block month. So it's a time to just really recalibrate yourself. It's a time to really reflect on, again, those needs, those desires, those values, and operating from that place where, okay, if we're really moving with the current of life, we are letting ourselves flow with that current. So we're not trying to go too fast. We're not trying to go too slow. We're flowing with the current. So therefore, we are going to flow with the current of divine timing and trusting that we're being guided on this beautiful river wherever we need to go, while also making sure that we are supported and nourished and enriched with the day-to-day things that are going to help us get there. It's that beautiful balance of that head and that heart energy. So I can't wait to see how that unfolds. During the course of this month, we have the 111 portal, which I look forward to every year because it feels like the energy of new beginnings. So if you're looking for a new beginning, you're looking to start something new, I would take a look at 111 and sit with the energy and see if it feels supportive for you with how you are planning the beginning stages of a new project, or you're wanting to get started on a new journey, maybe like a health journey, or you're looking to manifest something specific. Then we also have the full moon in Cancer on January 13th, as well as the new moon in Aquarius on January 29th. So that full moon in Cancer is going to be a very emotional full moon. Full moons in Cancer tend to be very nostalgic. They tend to be very heartwarming. So there may be something in your life where you need to kind of go back in order to go forward. You need to kind of readjust your boat a little bit by letting go of maybe they're showing me a visual of like throwing something out of your boat. So that could be heavy emotions, or that could be something from your past, maybe a trauma that needs to be healed. So you're going to be kind of getting rid of some of this baggage in your boat that's going to help you feel lighter, that's going to help you move more swiftly. So I would really look at that full moon in Cancer as an opportunity to do that, to do the emotional release work, to really feel your feelings, to maybe even revisit things from the past, like things that you did in childhood that brought you joy, maybe reconnect with some of those things again, and how that can help you with propelling yourself forward into the new year. And then that new moon in Aquarius is going to help us kind of anchor into this new year. We're going to start to feel more of the newer energies start to come in. So January is a month of getting yourself grounded. February is going to be a month of kind of really leaning into taking action on some of those new things. And then March is going to be like, okay, well, what's going to be happening here? As we get closer to the month of March and I tune into the frequencies, I will, of course, be giving you my full perspective on what I am seeing or anticipating. But until then, just know, let's use this month to just be prepared and enriched and nourished and full of life as we head into this beautiful new year of 2025. So before we get into more deeper information about 2025 itself, just want to share a couple of quick business updates with you. So if you are desiring more support on the year 2025 and you want me to help guide you and help be perhaps that guide that's standing at the end of your boat in the new year and helping you with rowing that boat, I would love to support you with an Akashic Records 2025 expansion session. This is a 1 hour of time with me where you get information about who on your spirit team is helping you prepare for the new year, the overall themes that you need to look out for, as well as guidance and manifestation, work, energy work, support for helping you create your most expansive year yet. So I would love to support you with that. The link for that will be below in the show notes. As you listen to this episode, you can still also join the Akashic Records certification for January 2024. This is the time when I will be teaching the certification during the spring season. As it is a 12-week certification, it will run from January through April. And then we're going to be looking at signing up for the fall certification. So if you want to learn with me before the midway point of the year, I would highly recommend that you sign up to learn with me in January, beginning January 14th. You can sign up now at the link that will be in the show notes. And you're going to be on a full journey of learning how to read the Akashic Records for yourself and others. And finally, if you are desiring to learn more about your cosmic and galactic origins, I would also love to support you in teaching you about the Galactic Akashic Records. So with that being said, I will be teaching another round of the Galactic Akashic Records mentorship, which is a shorter version of the Akashic Records certification. It's a 5-session mentorship. So it's a quick intensive where you learn about cosmic and galactic origins, connections, more of the malevolent galactic energies, as well as healing your past lives and letting go of any malevolent interference. So that is available to you as well. As we head into the year of 2025, there are a couple of things for you to keep in mind. When I see the year 2025 in my head, I feel a lot of orange and gold energy around it. I feel like it's going to be a really creative and expansive year for a lot of you, where there is an openness to new possibilities. So things that you may have felt restricted from or that weren't available to you over the last couple of years, you're going to feel an openness to them. For me, 2024 was the color green, the color of the heart chakra. And I witnessed and saw in many of you some deep, deep, deep heart chakra healing. As we head into 2025, there's more of this sacral and solar plexus energy that gets activated. It's a deeper sense of confidence. It's a deeper sense of that creativity, that really sacral-led power towards going and getting what you want. It's more of an active energy versus 2024 was more of a heart-centered receptive energy. I feel 2025 is going to have more of a balance between both. So with that being said, the guides are saying like, this is a year where you need to encourage yourself to really be in the driver's seat, really be in your magical boat that's rowing alongside with the current of life, right? So it's not a year to sit on the side of the river or to watch the river flow and watch everybody else flow down the river without you. It's a year to like be in your boat and be moving. Like it's time. So for some of you who are thinking about starting a new venture, changing careers, moving, this is a year to do it. This is a year to open yourself up to those possibilities. The time is now. The time is here for you to take action on things that you've been thinking about or dreaming of for a while. It is, and don't let the astrology scare you, because the astrology helps make some of those changes, even if things unfold at a collective level in really hard to anticipate ways. It creates still an expansiveness for you to do the things that you've been wanting to do or open yourself up to success, possibility, opportunities. So don't hold yourself back. Don't watch others, again, flow down the current without you. it's time to lead yourself now. It's time to move forward now. It's time to do what you feel like you need to do because it's going to help you get to where you want to go. So that's your little 2025 overall forecast. I also like to take a look at the astrology. So I also like to taking a moment. I also like to take a look at the numerology for the year ahead. Numerology is the study of the frequency of numbers, the energies of numbers. So when we take a look at the numerology of the year, we can take a look at a number that represents a frequency that we are going to be experiencing as a collective and also at an individual level, depending on the number of the year. So with the numerology number of the year modality that I like to work with, you add up all of the digits of the year and you deduce them down into a single number. The numbers of this numerology modality, by the way, go in order from 1 to 9. So when we look at the year of 2025, we're going to be adding up 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, and reducing those digits down into a single digit. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. So the collective is working with the number 9 during the course of the year ahead. In 2024, we were working with the number 8. 8 is the number of authority. It is the number of power and influence and money. And there were many ways that we could see those energies be reflected in the collective this past year. I don't want to go too deep into my reflections on that because I really want to keep this forecast future focused. So what you should know about 2025 is that the number 9 represents endings, change, completion, coming to the end of a cycle, letting things go, moving on. It's like it's the deaths that can happen before the rebirth. So I feel that things are going to be changing in our collective as we let go of things as a collective that are no longer serving us. So we may start to see the end of things that we've been doing before. We may start to see new things emerge. So it'll be really interesting to see how that pans out. So for many of us on a spiritual path, we've been looking for and looking towards the restructuring of things here on our planet, government structures, things in our society that are just not sustainable, that are not healthy for us as human beings. We're going to start to see some of those things be restructured and changed, and things wrapping up this year that maybe we've been used to or that have been comfortable. We're going to be seeing big changes, which is exciting. And it paves the way for 2026, which is a numerology year number 1, a year of new beginnings, fresh, new energy. So be open to seeing how that numerology number 9 really pans out for the collective. Now, I want to give you a personal numerology forecast. Instead of doing a card, I've been pulling a card to give you a mini reading for the month ahead. I'm instead going to be giving you a numerology forecast for your year ahead. I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's very simple, and you can do this for yourself and for all the people in your life. What you need to do is you're going to add up all of the digits in your birthday, your month, the day of your birth, as well as the current year. So instead of doing your birth year, you're going to put your current year into this calculation. So for me, my birthday is February 19th. So I'm going to be adding up 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus this current year, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. And then once you have that number, so that's the month of your birth, the date of your birth, the current year, adding up all those digits together, you're going to reduce that number down into a single digit 1 through 9. So pausing here, for me, that is... So for me, all of those digits add up to the number 21. So I'm going to add 2 plus 1 together, and that's going to give me the number 3. So you want to keep going with this until you get down to a single digit. There are also numerology number of the year calculators out there if you want to do a quick Google search to find yours. But again, it's the month of your birth, the day of your birth, plus the current year, adding up all of those digits, reducing them down to one single number, 1 through 9. You go through 9-year cycles in terms of numerology. So depending on where you are in your cycle will tell you a lot about what to anticipate during the year ahead. So for me, this past year, I was in a number 2 cycle. And heading into 2025, I am moving into a number 3 cycle. I've been through, and we go through these cycles every single year since the year that you were born. So this has been happening behind the scenes. Even if you haven't been consciously aware of it, it has been happening year over year up until now. So let's talk about what to expect for each number of the year. And you're going to get your personal forecast with this. And I want you to also tune into, okay, if I'm getting, let's say I'm in a 4 year this year, that means last year I was in a number 3. So you can also kind of see and analyze how that number showed up for you last year, which can help you tune into what to anticipate, what to expect this year. So let's start with personal year 1. The number 1 is a focus on the self. It is a year of major self-growth and development. When I went through my year 1 a couple of years ago, it was really about creating a firm foundation in my authentic self. It was a year of self-discovery. It was a year of learning more about me. It was a year of really understanding who I am, my values, my needs, my wants, my desires, helping me get clear on the person that I want to be as I head into my 9-year numerology cycle. So the year 1 can also be a year of new beginnings. It can be a year of opening up to new opportunities, new possibilities, new potentials, and really kind of coming into your own after the previous 9-year cycle. So there will be new things that come forward for you. There may be a really just like a fresh new energy. There can be a sense of some sort of internal shift. It can also be external. So your 1 year may be a year that you decide to really start a new path, start a new journey. Maybe you move somewhere new, or you really go all in on your, you just start something new, a new project, a new career, a new path. It's really that new beginning, that fresh new energy year, while also focusing on being grounded in your most authentic self and who you are. From the year 1, we move into the year 2, which is the year of relationships. 1 + 1 = 2. All of a sudden, there's someone else here with me. So this year 2 is really all about taking what you've learned internally and seeing how it affects and impacts the world around you. So who are you in relationship to other people? So I just went through a year 2 in 2024. And so for me, it was really a year of seeing how my personal growth internally had paid off in terms of the way that I relate to other people. Year of setting boundaries with other people and making sure that I'm doing what I can to protect myself and protect my own energy, while also coming together with others, learning how to lean on the support of other people, coming into new relationships, new connections, new partnerships. It's a year for really just sort of steady growth and opportunities as you connect with new people. You learn how to find balance in balancing all of these different relationships. So it's less focused internally and more focused on how you take that inner work that you've done in the year 1 and can relate to others in the world around you. Then from there, we move into the year 3. The year 3 is a really fast-paced, social, and busy year. All of a sudden, 1 + 2 = 3, and 3 is a crowd. So this is more of a group-oriented year. This is a year for celebrations. I like to think of the 3 of Cups when I think of this number with a numerology prediction. It's sort of this number of social occasions and playfulness and momentum, creativity, trying lots of different things, it can also be a year of travel and exploring new opportunities. And some will say that seeds that you planted in the year one, so a new project that you started, help pave the way for that abundance to come in during your year three. So personally, this is my year. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really excited about it. I feel like I've just been in the last few years have really just been like so growth oriented, so goal oriented, personal development oriented. So I'm looking forward to celebrating that and having more fun with it and being a little bit less serious and being a little bit more playful and just playing around with how I do things in my business and also new personal projects and art projects and just a lot of creativity and excitement. So I'm really looking forward to that this year. So that's the year three. Year four is the year of foundations. When I think of this year, I think of the Four of Wands in the tarot, the card of the four corners, the four walls, the four foundations. So it's a year of like really stabilizing everything that has come up over the last 3 years. It's a year of really getting secure in that foundation. And it's a year of more practicality and discipline than you may have had over the last few years. I think back to my previous year four, it was really a year of like focusing on my health and focusing on creating a really strong foundation with myself in a new job for me that had started, I believe, during my 2 year. So that year four was really about like discipline and perseverance and focusing on my career and work and efforting and creating a foundation for myself. So this could be a year where you really move into a new stable house or you create a really stable connection for yourself romantically or in your family. It's a year of really just focusing on building those important foundations for yourself with others and creating balance and organization and even a little bit of discipline, even a little bit of practicality in your life. After the year four, the year of hard work and efforting, we move into another more fun and freedom-filled year. The year of the five is the year of possibility and new change. So after things may have felt a little bit, perhaps a little boring, maybe a little bit too stable for some of you who enjoy things to be a little bit more new and fresh, the year five is going to bring that free-spirited energy. It's going to introduce you to new possibilities. It's the year of really expecting the unexpected. So there's going to be change happening in your own life, in the lives of people around you. You may find yourself really, if we're using that metaphor, we've been using this in this episode of going with the current of life, you may feel like that current's going really fast. Like there's just a lot happening. You may feel a little bit out of control, but it's good because it's allowing you to be open to expanding into new things. It's really a year of expansion and exploration and adventure and exploring your relationship to freedom and being out of control and less restriction and more opportunity and being open to things happening and unfolding differently than you could have anticipated. After the year five, we move into the year six. So the year six is really, as we think about the numbers, that 3 has doubled. So when we're looking at this year six, this is a year of resettling after that 5 year of expansion and adventure. The 6 is all about love and relationships and romance and really focusing on buckling down on having that stability in terms of your relationships and connections around you. So it takes the exploration from the last 5 years and it starts to mature it a little bit. So you begin to find perhaps that you're ready to deepen a romantic connection or that you meet a new romantic connection during the year six. You find yourself focusing on your family. You find yourself focusing on having a more mature approach to your life, your work, your career. It's more of a settling down year after the very nomadic and free-spirited 5. It's a year of really focusing on values and focusing on intimacy and focusing on expanding on what you created in the 2-year, really bringing more of that into abundance. It's supposedly a very magnetic year, and a year where you may find a lot of luck for it yourself. I know for me, my 6th year was a really interesting year in terms of my career. I got promoted at my old corporate job. So it's a year of finding more magnetism, more abundance, more prosperity. Again, a maturing of whether it's your love relationship or finding a new relationship that meets the person that you've recently become, that you've become over the last 6 years, or it's maturing in your job. By the way, the 2-year is also a great year to meet love and to find romance. And that really gets anchored in as you move into the year 6. But it's possible to meet your person in any other year. It's just in numerology, the years 2 and 6 are known to be the most romance forward years. Your year 7 is going to be the year of spiritual exploration. I went through a massive spiritual awakening during my personal year 7. And I love the year 7 because it's a year of exploring above and beyond what's possible, expanding your consciousness, going on a bit of an inner journey, maybe being a bit more introverted and wanting to stay home, wanting to focus on your inner growth, wanting to do the meditation, do the spiritual practices. You may even start a spiritual course or read some books about spiritual practices. It's a year of just expanding the energy field, expanding the mind, expanding your conscious awakening, because you've created a firmer foundation to allow you to be able to do that. So the 7 helps you expand energetically, and it helps you find more rest, more of an internal focus after a very busy 6 years that you've had. So focus on the spirituality and yourself and your journey, and don't hesitate to buy the course or read the book or follow the teacher. Maybe that's me that you feel called to follow, because the 7 is all about your inner mystic. The year 8 is all about your own authority, leadership, power. It's about money and achievement. So we may have seen things really start to mature in your year 6. Your year 8 is where you really start to see and reap the rewards for that. You get an abundance. For me, when I had my year 8, it was really a year of focusing on making money in my business, learning to make money, and seeing that I really could make money as a business owner, and really seeing that come to fruition. So you're going to find yourself manifesting during the year 8. I loved my year 8. It was one of my favorite numerology years yet. It's a year of really getting rewarded for all of your hard work and efforting over the last 7 years. You find that you really get an abundance from working towards your goals. You really start to feel that equal exchange that you've been putting in. You start to reap the rewards and the efforts of that. And it's a year of bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual. So after your very spiritual year 7, the 8 takes that and brings it into physical form. So all of the growth that you've been doing, all of the inner work, maybe your inner manifestation, you start to see those manifestations come in during the year 8. You start to see yourself even focusing more on money and finances. So it's a big year for anchoring into wealth and wealth consciousness. And there may be themes of reorganizing your finances, or working with a financial advisor, or getting clear on your money goals, focusing on things that are going to bring you abundance in the years to come. And finally, your year 9. We wrap up the 9-year cycle with the year 9, a year of reflection, letting go of anything that's not served you over the last 9 years, releasing, ending, anything in alignment must go, completion. And it's all about really just kind of coming into this full maturation, this full end of the 9-year cycle, really having more of an awareness of how far you've come, what you've created, where you've been, and creating a vision for yourself of the next 9 years and where you want to go next. So for me, I really found myself kind of coming to the end of fully letting go of corporate Emily, fully letting go of my identity and my ego around being this like very corporate, rigid person. I really let that identity go in my year 9 and fully embraced being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. I fully leaned into the chapter of my life, the next 9 years involving entrepreneurship fully, wholeheartedly. So this could be a year of just fully like letting go of an old identity, an old version of yourself, and getting ready to embrace the next 9 years. So I hope you found that interesting, and I'm excited to hear what year you're in. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment or please share this podcast episode on your Instagram story, tag me in it, and let me know what numerology year you're heading into. I would love to hear. I'm in the year 3, so I'm really looking forward to that because I know it's going to be a year of expansion and travel and creativity. And I feel like I need that after some very hardworking years that I've had. So I can't wait to enjoy my year 3. Whatever year you're in, know that it's not going to provide all of the experiences and be the end all be all prediction for where your year takes you. But it does provide that current, that undercurrent, that foundation of the flow of how your life is unfolding over the next year, and can just be really interesting to help you understand what you're being guided to do, where you're being guided to go, and the current that's taking you through life itself. So I hope you enjoyed this January energy update, as well as your personal numerology forecast. I cannot wait for another year of energy forecasts, mystical guest episodes, and really cool solo episodes with lots of spiritual expansion, exploration, activations, channeled energy, and so much more. So thank you for being on the ride with me, on the current of life with me with this podcast. It has been such a joy to create this magical material for you. So I hope that you keep listening. And if you do, make sure to rate this podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to give this podcast a 5-star review. Send us a screenshot to teamemilythemystic@gmail.com, and you will receive a free month of the Emily the Mystic membership. The next call is on January 7th, where we will be doing a future progression activity. I will be helping you activate your future timeline for the new year. You'll be getting some guidance and downloads on where the year is taking you. It's going to be really fun and really expansive, and will be recorded if you can't join us live. So cheers to many more episodes and exciting Emily the Mystic month of membership activities, as well as lots of expansion here to come at Emily the Mystic. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and the portal will open again soon. Bye for now.